Hello everyone, it is Kaiju Stuff here, and yeah, we're talking about more Godzilla today, specifically modern Toho. And what I mean by that is, really from 2016 with Shin Godzilla up to Godzilla Minus One. And personally, besides the Godzilla Earth trilogy, I think modern Toho is better than Legendary. So, yeah, today I'm basically just going to be sharing my opinions about that. So, yeah, let's just begin. So, Shin Godzilla was actually, I remember when that movie was coming out, and I was the most hyped for it. Like, I was very hyped. And, I still think that's justifiable, because that was really a good movie. I didn't see it in theaters, because, really, there was no Godzilla in theaters where I was. So yeah. But I did eventually get to see it, and I'm really glad I did. I would say it's like a month later after it came out. But it's a very good movie. I think it really shaped my perception of Shin Godzilla and how he's constantly in pain, and he's kind of just a force of nature, but yet we created him. By we, I mean humans. But, yeah. I think that's a very cool plot point. Instead of just like, oh, it's a dinosaur. Instead, it's like, just kind of a biomass of just a chemical bioweapon. I feel like that's what it was. Like, it felt like a weapon. I don't know how to explain it. It felt like, well, how about this? It was a response to a reactor blowing up, or chemical plant blowing up. That's a better term. And the Japanese government had a slow reaction time to fix that. And just like the original Godzilla movie, this was a response. And I think that's really cool. Because I think they really got the response through. Because it feels like it's not supposed to exist. It feels like it shouldn't have even happened. Just like that disaster. I believe it was the Fukushima. It was something like that. It was in Fukushima, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, I think that was cool that they did that, and I think Shin Godzilla is a really cool idea of Godzilla. And but one thing I didn't like was the Godzilla Earth trilogy, because it really just focused on humans, and that's kind of boring. Sometimes it's not. I could definitely say sometimes in Godzilla movies, humans are not boring. But in those, they really had no character, and the main character was kind of a jerk, actually. He didn't seem like a go-lucky character that wanted humanity to survive on Earth for another millennia. That didn't feel like it. I feel like he just wanted to get revenge on Godzilla because he, like, killed his family. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that trilogy. I'm surprised that people agree with me on that, because when I first saw that anime trilogy, I was like, man, that was horrible, but I'm sure other people don't agree with me, but I'm actually surprised they do. And I'm glad they do, because I really do not like that trilogy, but that's just my opinion, and I know people probably have some sort of nostalgia for it if it was like their first Godzilla movie. But in that case, they'll be pretty young, so maybe they can culture themselves more before it slowly seeps into a nostalgia kick every time they look at Godzilla Earth. But, yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is Godzilla Minus One, and, obviously that's who I am right now. But I think It was one of the only Japanese Godzilla movies I got to see in theater. Um, Actually, it was the only Japanese Godzilla movie that I got to see in theater, because all the other ones were American. I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters in theater. Um, Godzilla vs. Kong in theater. And now this in theater. And let me just say, in theater, it feels different. And basically, it's a war-torn Japan. And it really provokes a message. Even though it was 80 years ago, it really does provoke a message. And I know the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in my opinion, getting a little bit off topic of Godzilla in general, I think we should have dropped the nukes. But anyway, that's way off topic, actually. Yeah, if I want to talk about that, I should make a different channel. Anyway, I think that was really, really cool that they basically just recreated the 54 movie, but they added better plot points. They added brand new characters, which I think are pretty cool, because the guy, spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, he has a lot of regret because he was the one that made his comrades die. I really like that, because it's a very real feeling that you would get if you're the one that didn't shoot and you're the one responsible, technically, because he was. If he shot the artillery, I'm sure Godzilla would have died, especially in that like T-Rex form. But yeah, he feels very relatable. Like, if I did that, I would feel like, wow, I was responsible. And I just find that very cool. And at the end, he survives, which, I'm really glad he did, because, he like adopted this little girl. I think he adopted. I'm not sure if he just adopted or just taken in, but either or, taking care of this little girl. And, it's a really nice story. Like, the human characters are very, very interesting. You don't just want to skip to the kaiju parts, because the human characters are actually very engaging, and you actually want to know what happens to them at the end. I'm not going to spoil the end like I spoiled everything else, but yeah, I do really, really love Godzilla Minus One, and I really do hope they make a second one. Maybe like, I don't know, King Ghidorah, something. I would love to see a like minus one Ghidorah. I don't know what they could do with that, but I'm sure they could do something with that. Maybe it won't be from outer space though. That's a little too far fetched, which sounds crazy because radioactive flaming hot lizards. But the point of it. So maybe like a mech, like after 65 years, it's like the year 2003, and they're still on the lookout for kaiju, because there's been kaiju attacks since Godzilla, like maybe like a minus one Baragon. But I'm really just going on a rant here. You get the point, I think. But yeah, I really do like modern Toho. And technically, they've only made 2 movies, but I'm realizing modern Toho, they're making a lot of short movies now. Like Godzilla versus Gigan Rex. That was really cool that they even made that, in my opinion. And then they made the Godzilla Carnival ride, which has their own Bandai vinyls, which are, in my opinion, too much money. Like, I know they're ride exclusive, like you can only get them at the park, but I really just want a Shin Ghidorah, and they gave that to me. Like, they gave the design of Shin Ghidorah to me, and I love that design. But it's for like $360 on eBay. I'm not paying for that. They just need to make a Bandai vinyl of Shin Ghidorah that's really good and affordable and is easy to get. But yeah, I think modern Toho is doing really well with keeping its roots. And recently, they've been making a lot of solo Godzilla movies, which, when you really think of the grand scheme of things, is kind of neglected nowadays. I mean, yeah, we have Godzilla 54 and Godzilla 84, but think of another solo Godzilla movie, like strictly solo. I mean, like we can have like a flying robot, but like no other kaiju. Like, yeah, sure, there's like maybe one other, maybe the most two others. But I think besides those two, which is 54 and 84, modern Toho has really been pushing out solo Godzilla movies, and I think that's really good because we don't have that much of that. We really don't. And I'm glad that they're shining light on that specific area of Godzilla. But the designs I think are really cool too. Shin Godzilla, once again, doesn't really look like an animal, but he doesn't look like any non-organic creature either. He just looks like a mess up. He looks like he's not supposed to be made, and he wasn't. It was man-made. I think that's very cool that they made it so perfectly. Every single form of Shin Godzilla, they made it look like it's a mutation. Because I don't know if you guys ever seen like mutations. If you guys ever look up Chernobyl animal mutations. There's like deers with like 3 eyes. It's actually pretty crazy. And yeah, that's what I got the impression of Shin Godzilla. Like he's a mutation, but the mutation didn't help him. It destroyed him. Just like real world mutations. There's no actual good mutation having to do with radiation. But there is bad ones. And if you look at like a Chernobyl accident, which everyone knows what Chernobyl is, but if you don't, look it up. And the mutations of Chernobyl were very sad. There was like dogs with like just extra limbs that they can't use, and that really does remind me of Shin Godzilla in a way, because it's not supposed to be happening. It's a malfunction in the cells. It's actually really crazy how much depth mutations go into. Like, if you guys are into that, research it, because it's actually crazy how interesting a mutation could be. But with Godzilla -1, he is the definition of like a threatening Godzilla. I feel like he looks very threatening, and we don't really get too much intel of the exact cause of Godzilla -1. Like, yeah, we know he woke up because of the atomic bomb, but we don't really go in depth. Like, did he get mutated, or was he like that anyway? We don't know. And I think that's why a sequel should be made. But once again, these are all just my opinions, and I know this video was pretty short for a Godzilla talk along, but I'm honestly really tired, and who knows, maybe I might make a part 2. So with that, if you guys enjoy the video and the content of this channel, please like and subscribe, and with that, good